在新的赛季，我会把上个赛季的缺点一一改正，会打得越来越稳的。对我来说的话，压力还是有的嘛，因为两名中单轮换的话，我觉得对我也是一件好事，因为有压力才有动力嘛，我就会打得越来越好。
And it looks like Yuki was very right about that playing better and better, because that was one of the best Zoe games we've seen in a while, and he just absolutely demolished the entirety of Rogue Warriors time after time on that play. So, I don't know. I feel like the pressure's working out for LGD.
It's looking good. Specifically, Kongming wasn't happy about that. His lane was just a disaster. The moment he was able to help out Xiaoyao to begin with, then he was like, okay, it's looking good. You know, shut down gold, given to Xiaoyao, excellent. He can do his thing. He got Dragon a little later on, but then it was just Kongming in his lane from that point forward. There was no interaction there, and he was consistently just in that 1v1. That definitely you won if you're LGD's mid laner. Like, he consistently finds leads when he's on the Aurelia pick. I think his Zoe is excellent on top of that. Yuki has been a strong ISO player. He has been exceptional if he finds himself in an isolated situation. He constantly gets solo kills on top of that. And so he had another game, goes up against Kongming, no jungle pressure, and he just finds the kills timelessly.
And I think for Rogue Warriors, that's something they need to focus on going forward. Because you can't let Yuki do that again. And Zoe, granted, if you give Zoe an isolated lane with a free jungle pressure, she's going to do more than quite a few mid laners. But that doesn't mean that's the only mid laner for whom that happens. If you let that happen again, if you leave Kongming alone in favor of your other two lanes who are, quite frankly, also doing kind of bad, you're not going to have a lot of success, especially with your jungle pathing the way it did. I liked seeing that Xiaoyao was like, cool, I'll try something new, try and throw Kandi off. And he threw him off, and then threw him a kill.
Yeah.
And then he got thrown 2 more, and suddenly Kandi's 3-0 and absolutely dominating the game.
Yeah, that was a situation where the jungle pressure top lane resulted in what was a bad lane for Zhang Yun in the top lane. I think he had a bad lane simply because of how the early kills actually went across. Because eventually, top lane, Eris is going to get a lead in that matchup. But in the early portions of it, it's supposed to be Urgot that gets it. In fact, Urgot got the solo kill. So if anything, Zhao Yun actually played better than he should have in those situations. But he was set up to fail in that one. And then the bottom lane was actually doing quite well. So Rogue Warriors, if the mid lane actually remained firm, if Kongming had stayed on his own, able to eat the pressure, and had been able to play respectfully with his minion waves, I thought Rogue Warriors have a longer game to work with. They have a longer game to work with. They can actually play through team fights around Kongming a little bit more reliably, but that just wasn't the case because Yuki just wilded out.
And that's going to give us a little bit of a clue in to who our MVP may have been that last game.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, weird how that works.
53% damage percentage is actually the highest I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was genuinely like, have I seen anything above 50?
There are a few
40?
players that do it. There are a few players that reach that part. I would say Doomby in the past, when he was on Xiaogu Reapers, when he had the Vladimir, and they had that 1 or 2 threat composition, he was able to accomplish that. But 53% damage is literally just him being able to constantly find that kill pressure that he did. From the early laning phase, we'll just start from here. That wasn't even Sleepy Trouble Bubble ready. That was condition. You're pushed to the right, you're dead, buddy. And then it just kept going forward. So it was insane what Yuki could do with just the isolation.
Here it goes, number 2. Pop goes the dynamite.
And then you keep letting it happen. So of course Zhang Wuji falls from this point. Like, this is actually really difficult to play against a Zoe when you actually are up against your inhibitor tower, because then there's actually so much in terrain to work with. So not only the terrain, but also the complete vision that's behind you. LGD had just recognized that he was doing so well in lane, and we're just consistently pushing along him, getting him the respect in lane, and then they had Baron side pressure. That's very hard for Rogue Warriors to deal with.
They weren't quite able to, especially when their usual carry, Jungwoo G, was being absolutely obliterated by a single paddle star.
Feels bad, man.
That feels awful. I genuinely was about to shed a little bit of a tear when I saw that happen to Jungwoo G, because I've played AD carry. I've been against the Zoe. It's never been that bad.
I mean, literally last night, I watched Forrest Gump, and I felt sadder watching this. my heart was starting to tear the moment he killed Zhang Wuji, because he was doing well in laning phase, but he had to back away because of the mid lane pressure. And then finally, when he had to go mid to defend from the Zoe, that happens. So going into this game, you shouldn't even ban the Zoe. It's not a bannable pick. It's more so you have to have the confidence that your mid lane can actually stay up front. Because I pick Lissandra over Zoe almost every day if you're a team that can play around the Lissandra well. So it's hard for a coach to come into this. If you're Coach Steak, you go into the back and say there was nothing wrong with the matchup. You should still play it out. Just play a little bit more actively if you're playing with a Lissandra pick. But also just if you're Kongming in that situation, you have to play better. You have to have confidence that your players can play better in the second time around in that matchup.
I hope they don't pick it again, though, because if I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I trust Rogue Warriors' ability to capitalize on that, because they've shown a penchant for finding good reactive plays or ones where they're like, oh, hey, I just noticed this. Do you think they did? And someone's like, no, let's just go for it. But I think when it comes to overall general macro play and just playing it slow, playing around their proper lanes, I don't trust them as much as I do LGD led by Condi.
Well, I will say, if we're just talking about you don't want to see the Zoe pick, if I'm Rogue Warriors, depends on what side they are. Because if I'm a red side, you can't ban the Zoe. If you're on blue side, then you can do what most teams have done when they go up against LGD in 2018, which is just ban everything Yuki plays. So that's an option if they have themselves on blue side. We'll have to see what happens here. But my question is now, if you don't have Galio because it gets banned in the previous games, you cannot shut yourself away from going for the Lissandra pick. I think the only thing that if I'm Rogue Warriors and I can change, it would be going into this game, playing a little bit better, picking up the Lissandra, Galio, still remain with the same composition. It's going to be LGD on blue side, so sad face. You don't have that chance to actually take away the Zoe.
And that means, I mean, honestly, I don't see a reason for LGD to not take it unless they really want to shift up their strategy, because they played that game incredibly well. They got their lead early. They transitioned it into the mid game. Yuki transitioned it into the enemy's base and several gravestones. And now we're going to see the Kled ban coming out from LGD.
Now there are two options, Urgot or Irelia, but they actually go for the Zoe ban. That's a hard committal for a player that has plenty. Right now, Yuki could still go towards the Irelia, and he's been more successful with the Irelia in 2018 than he has ever been with the Zoe pick. So I think this is too much of a reach. This is Kongming saying that I've just gotten completely tilted within the laning phase, and I do not want to see that pick again.
Well, it's like you said, it's a tilt ban. And especially at this high level of League of Legends, you cannot afford to have tilt bans like that, because you give over strong picks like the Irelia. And I'm scared for Rogue Warriors now.
Yep. Easy. Like, I think that was a poor ban. That being said, if you're Rogue Warriors, you're going into this one, you still have the Urgot pick, so I think you can go Urgot here. The only worry is that Zhao Yun knows what the counter pick is going to be. The Fiora is still up and available. So if they go Urgot because it is a priority pick, you know that you're going to have to deal with the matchup again. I think Zhao Yun is a confident player. He was able to take the solo kill in the last time round when the jungle pressure was not inting in top lane. So I would say go for it. You have Kai'Sa, Urgot. That is a great duo for team fights with how much they can just burst a player down, burst a tank down, I mean.
And I think the difference this game is really the big thing for LGD was that they just got fed a jungle. They literally were just like, oh, we just win the jungle, because he went blue to red, back to blue side, and he just kind of wasted a bunch of time. So now Condi might not have that same advantage, might not have that same early pressure, but
here's a secret for you. This Gragas pick is not going to be for Condi, and I'll tell you why. RD, I already said that he played Morgana and Janna in solo queue, but he actually had a huge amount of success. Remember, the season just started, so this is actually with limited information. This is 4 out of the 4 games of Gragas he's played, he's won all 4 of them in solo queue. So I'm just throwing it out there. He's been pretty confident. This happened just yesterday. So I would expect Condi, who is a career, he played Gragas pretty frequently within the NWE, he's going to give that over to RD.
But Kongming feeling pretty confident with the response, going for the LeBlanc. Very flashy, very showy mid laner right there. He wants to redeem himself from last game. And if it does go into the Zoe, he does have more assassination potential, but...
Yeah, he's going up against the Irelia. So for him, we've seen that matchup in the past. We've seen it at Worlds. It's a really difficult matchup, just in the sense that LeBlanc can set up for your jungle. So for whatever Xiaoyao picks, you can actually come to the LeBlanc lane pretty easily and maybe even look for a kill. But Irelia outscales when she gets her first item, when she turns into a little bit of a bruiser. So I would say once she gets her Phage, her Tiamat, she out-trades pretty easily, and she's going to be looking for her stuns. She can get her W, her E that is, nail you down, easy kill. I wonder what Yuki is going to end up picking for himself in terms of his summoner spells. Right now he's hovering over Cleanse. I wonder if he then swaps over to Ignite.
Rogue Warriors banning out a lot of the bot lane there. They do not want LGD on these other supports. I guess they think that that's Condi's Gragas, but
I don't know if they've done the research. I will say though, it was hard to find RD's account because he's barcodes. He has a completely barcoded account. The only way I actually found him was just because Kramer was duoing with him relentlessly. So, yeah, thinking that that's going to be a support, support Alistar or Morgana, I think that's a wrong choice.
So Rogue Warriors essentially hand over 2 bans there. LGD get rid of the heavy engaged jungler and the heavy engaged support, ones that are able to make those crazy plays, and this could be the victor for Kramer.
Now, the big question is, Sejuani is still up. I wonder what it's going to be. RD still goes for the support Tahm Kench, because at this point, you're flexible enough to still get a real support. And your only real option here for a jungle would be a Sejuani, and so you'd have Gragas Sejuani. The composition looks a little weird. So I like the fact that, once again, Rogue Warriors put in a position where they're giving their support last pick. LGD say, okay, we're actually going to give the Gragas to the jungle pick to Condi, and we'll just take Tahm Kench away from Killua.
Now, with that bot lane, that Victor Tahm Kench, I believe that's the only bot lane we've seen Victor with, or very near. Oh, Killua potentially going for the Fiddlesticks pickup. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It gives them decent lane presence and poke, but
the fear is going to be the most important part of this lane, because we talked about the 2 jungle matchups of Zac and Lee Sin that can, kick the Tahm Kench if he has the Victor or whoever it is in the stomach. But fear works in the same way. It's good enough CC for whoever's going to be in there. It's long enough once you rank it up. So it really is going to be a question where Xiaoyao ends up pathing. If Kongming can get his advantage, it's all going to be coming down to the bottom lane to try and blow up RD. I think they have enough damage based off their 3 champions to do it.
Rogue Warriors with a very different comp from last game. The LeBlanc instead of the Lissandra. Huge style shift there for Kongming, and we haven't seen him on anything similar to this before. We've basically just seen the Lissandra so far.
Yeah, he's usually gone towards that, not only just because it's one of the strongest mid lane picks in the meta, but also just because it works towards his playstyle, so he can actually leave the lane, help his team, roam towards the bottom lane. Was the strategy that they came in with it, but right now it seems like he's trying to flex to see if he can do it. And remember, you're in a game 3 in a best of 3. So if you lose here, that's it. You're throwing all your chips out on the table. That's when your coach starts having second thoughts about you and Hua Tian, who they end up choosing. This is going to be a big game for Kongming to see if he can see continued growth and success. If he has that play time, this is where you start to question it.
LeBlanc pick, he says, pressure? I'll show you pressure, Yuki. This is what pressure feels like, picking LeBlanc in a competitive environment. First time on the LPL stage in the 3rd game of a best of 3 for our first victory in the LPL. That's pressure to win this game for Kongming.
And we talked about every lane that isn't Zhao Yun and Eris, but I know once the game starts up, the action's going to just paramount, start to build up between them. Eris is an aggressive player. This is when you start.
And now we're coming into the 3rd game, LGD versus Rogue Warriors. Who brings it home? Who gets their first series? We're going to find out in just a bit.
They're not playing. Stop it. Actually get them out of here.
The Rogue Warrior chants, though, getting noticeably louder there, Raz. They're feeling it. The fans are feeling a little bit. I don't think it's pity. I think it's faith coming in for Zhang Wuji. Their weird bot lane, very aggressive jungler pick, very squishy. They want Zhao Yun to show his stuff again.
just going to be Xiao Yao trying to get the early game in his favor. I mean, now going towards the Kazakhs. With the Fiddlesticks, you actually have a way to play through bottom lane. You can play through mid lane, or at least you're forced to, because LeBlanc in that matchup, you do want to have the early pressure starting to be levied there. It really just depends on where Xiao Yao ends up putting his early game, because I thought his game 1 was exceptional. Like, his game 1 on Lee Sin really did it for me. So he might be just trying to go back to that point, try and at least find that redemption off of his game 2 performance.
Game 1 rather. He knew exactly what he was needed to do on the Lee Sin, exactly how to play it. At no point did he seem lost. That's something we can't say about a lot of inexperienced Lee Sins. He proved that he knows what he should be doing, so hopefully this time he'll get to demonstrate it like you said. And now we're going to be looking towards the top lane a lot this game, because this is a contentious matchup. If Zhao Yun can get ahead, this entirely flips the narrative that we saw last game in Game 2, because Eris was ahead basically that entire time off the back of the Kandi ganks. If that doesn't happen again, Urgot suddenly got a much better chance.
Yeah, and I wonder if Xiao Yao will be able to get any pressure up topside, because you can already see Eris starting to push this one out. It's really good space, really, for Kazakhs to work here. He's pinging towards the mid lane, so that's an option, but he has a wealth of choices here.
Stun going down onto Kong Ming, but Kong Ming will get the leash instead. Now Yuki looking to be first blood here. Oh, he gets it! Trade 1 for 1, but Yuki strutting his stuff.
That's sick. That is insane. You actually robbed them of the first blood. That gank not only gets swept away, first blood goes towards Yuki, but now you have vision of where Xiao Yao actually came from, so you know that top side's clear. And you know that he's going towards the bottom side. That gives way too much information to Kandi to now work with. Really well done from Yuki to once again outplay his opponents.
And because we saw earlier Zhang Wuji take... Oh, here we're going to see the gank again real quick.
I just want to see when Yuki goes in, because this was a really good setup. But just take a look at this. If he went bottom side, oh no, are we doing it again?
Oh no.
Okay,
Kong Ming getting stunned up. Doesn't look like it. Yuki... This is giving me anxiety, Raz. I'm just waiting for another fight to break out in the mid. We were thinking top, but...
Yeah, I never want to see a replay again, because we probably just happens in between it. At this point, it feels like it happened at any point. That's why I said it's so crazy whenever you see these matchups here, because LeBlanc wants to see action early here because of how easy it is to set up and burst down the Aurelia. But that didn't work. I mean, right now it's Aurelia who's feeling on top of the world, and here comes Kandi.
They get the stun.
Too far away.
Kong Ming playing that very carefully, knowing that at the worst, Xiao Yao can respond faster if he's on the bottom side of the lane, and that saves him. And now they're going to reset. Kong Ming still alive for now, with a CS lead, no less.
And it's starting to push towards Yuki, so if I'm Yuki, big ups. I'm pretty happy about that. Yuki and Kandi should feel really comfortable knowing that Yuki can farm this one up towards his Tiamat route. And on top of that, now Kandi can actually remain topside, farm it out, and look for a gank to help Eris out. So I think that right now, if you're Yuki just based off that 2v2 alone, you are sky high. Because this lane matchup shouldn't be working for you initially to begin with.
Kong Ming trying to use the time he gained from pushing in the wave to get some vision down and try and track Kandi better. So now Xiao Yao has the information that Kandi had before, exactly where his opponent is. We'll see what he does with it. Zhao Yun starting to win some trades here in the top.
Yeah, not only that, just so you guys know what actually happened in the bottom lane, Killua stayed in lane with no mana to trick Kramer and RD into thinking that there was no base. Now, Zhang Wuji will be coming into the lane with a full BF sword into what is Kramer with literally just the Doran's ring. That is really smart. He backs now, but it gives Zhang Wuji time to actually fully push this one out.
The mid 2v2.
Oh, they had teleport. I'm so sad. I hate teleport.
Changes all the strategies there, Raz. So now
it was so smart until the man just magically came into the bottom lane.
Almost a 2v2 in the mid, but some good vision there from Kandi and some quick thinking. Lets them pass by each other, and now looking more towards the bottom side. Xiao Yao looking for a gank as Killua returns to lane potentially. They have vision in the river if they did decide to go for this, but instead it just looks like they want to farm out the bottom side.
What gets this game, really close to be able, that was a double chain actually, missed both of them. Any of that lands, then Yuki's once again under trouble. Remember level 6 on Yuki, I think that he can actually turn that even if they went for the gank. That's how difficult it is. Most frustrating champion to deal with is an Aurelia with Ignite and ulti.
Oh no, this is really potentially awful for Rogue Warriors here. Look at the leap. Connie gonna be fine. Killua taking a lot of damage, but he has Drain.
Alright, it's officially frustrating now for Xiaoyao. Like, what lane does he actually go out and help? If he goes mid lane, then that's the most easy gank to actually turn back on you if you're Yuki. And then on top of that, if you're going bottom lane, Kramer actually gets such an easy shove, already having evolved his E. And RD, I mean, he's just there to protect him at all times. Ooh, even positioning him to cancel out the base from jungle.
Xiaoyao getting outpathed again, but
oh,
be able to find the kill here.
What?
Go for it, man.
I'm sad. You even had LeBlanc, who was actually there to rotate. They were probably worried about RD just ulting on. Actually, didn't even have level 6. Yeah, just go for it. No, literally. If he was level 6, then I would be afraid of RD and Kramer just hopping on top of you. But that wasn't even the case, and that should have been known for them. So, information, they had the information ready for him, but Xiaoyao didn't want to do it.
And Raz, I'm going to repeat because I feel like it bears emphasizing.
Okay, go for it.
What?
Yeah.
Because there was also the Infernal Drake. So for a second, I was like, okay, Xiaoyao knows that they have the pressure in the bottom lane. Kha'Zix's really good at taking those objectives. Maybe they want to prioritize the Infernal. And then Xiaoyao does absolutely nothing with that time. So now we're seeing Rogue Warriors completely unpunished that play from Kandi.
Well, to be fair, I think if they went for the Dragon play, they would have gotten collapsed on Kramer and RD. And Kramer and RD are doing way too well in lane, but I think that pick is definitely an option. Most teams would actually just jump on that back. They didn't go for it, so I'm a little worried about that one. Now you're just getting chipped at bottom lane tower. Kramer and RD are just unpunished here, just consistently looking for it. And if I'm Kandi, after he clears top side, look to protect them. That should just be a free tower, unless if he is looking for a gank, actually. This is interesting.
I guess he just wants to keep every lane going as hard, as fast as it can. You know, you don't have to worry about messing up the late game if you scale up by mid game. He has flash available.
It's just the wave that's really awkwardly positioned. Zhao Yun is playing very well behind his own minions. So for Gragas to come in there, here's his opportunity.
Oh, there's the ward, but Zhao Yun may be safe. Good flash.
All of it was respectful. All of it. The ward that he placed in there, and then he buffered his E to move away while Kandi was body slamming into him, and then waited for the ultimate that Kandi had thrown out before he flashed. Literally every single part of that was respectful. Had Kandi messed up once, he would have saved an ability. I think that was really well done from Zhao Yun.
And it may not seem exciting to some people because it's like, oh, he just didn't die, whatever. But it really does show a lot of knowledge of the situation and a lot of forethought from Zhao Yun. So now, potentially, we're going to see Rogue Warriors go for this dragon.
And it may be pushed away from LGD, but they knew that Gragas was in the top lane. Here comes LeBlanc. She is being chased by the Aurelia. So they have to do this quickly.
They have the Drain. They have the Smite. Now, it might turn into a fight. Killua incredibly low. Has to flash away from the ultimate there. But RD keeping his AD carry safe. But the pickoff from Kongming. He gets RD, but now he might die for it. Escapes away barely.
Smooth criminals. I mean, they literally got their dragon and had just busted out of there. The fact that they had that small window where Kandi was in top lane and was just booking it from the failed top lane gank towards the contest on dragon, didn't work out for him. Zhao Yun, though.
Zhao Yun in a lot of trouble. He's getting flashed on. He doesn't have the ability to get the ult. The great riposte.
That was beautiful from Aris. Two things. Not only the riposte to stop out and then Zhao Yun ultimate, wouldn't have mattered to be honest, but literally to just squeeze right in there because it was Zhao Yun trying to find that wall so it wouldn't actually get proc, but the ultimate proc has completely been fulfilled. He was able to get the heal off of it, so that was really well done for the all-in from Aris.
Another worrying game here.
So it all started out with Zhao Yun, but he got completely isolated from his own tower. He tried his hardest to stay next to the terrain. Wasn't going to work for him. So, to be honest, even if he had that ultimate, as I had mentioned, He was so low in HP that would have been a kill no matter what. Eris just played that 1v1 exceptionally.
Now everything's gone wrong for Rogue Warriors except the mid lane, but even that's got a deficit of its own. 12 CS down. If you look, the bot lane's surviving, but top lane's not going great, and the jungle matchup is far in Condi's favor with the way he's been able to move around the map.
Yeah, I think it's more of a tit for tat, I would say. Right now, it seems like both their teams have the strategy being put down. Rogue Warriors bottom side are working so well for them. I don't think this is going to be an aggressive one yet, just definitely to push them off of the tower. Like, Rogue Warriors have given Zhangwuji an advantage. That's what they've always wanted for themselves. Oh, might even get something here for Zhao Yun.
Looking for the dive onto the top lane. Eris has outplayed it before, but I don't think he's got the chance this time. They will pick it up, and it looks like they're just shoving in, but Condi looking for a potential kill.
They can actually stay here. The next wave is coming in pretty hot too, so this is pretty beefy. LGD definitely needed to rotate their dual lane that went mid lane to protect the mid lane push, and then now had to go top lane to protect that. I think this is a little bit too much. Do not do it. Yeah, thank you. Don't do it. Everything up until that point was beautiful, and they were rotating around it. So far, all of that was beautiful from Rogue Warriors to get their early bottom lane advantage, rotate it mid lane, and then rotate that top lane because that was a huge wave that Zhao Yun had pushed up.
And this is what we were saying they had to do after last game. They weren't able to make the heads-up plays that they made in Game 1 that gave them the victory, despite LGD having a pretty good hold over the first half of the game. So now Rogue Warriors keeping up with the plays, and RD going to be in a lot of trouble. This is certainly his death.
Yeah, you have to respect that mid lane push. To be honest, even there, Kongmin wasn't even needed. They would have gotten the kill anyway. But even then, you know if Kongmin has pushed mid and is rotating your side, why even look for that pressure? So just disrespectful from RD. Gets picked again. This is the second time he gets picked in the series in the same fashion, to be fair. So now Rogue Warriors before didn't make sense to them to get the Rift Herald. Easy pickup for them now.
We got the pressure. They've gotten both major objectives on the map so far, but Eris just keeping up with the split push, getting the gold from all this turret plating.
That's why I said it was tit for tat. It felt like it was moving in both directions, where before that play from Rogue Warriors when they went mid and then went top, that Eris was doing well in his own lane, getting the solo kill. And then on top of that, Yuki and Condi had played well to keep mid lane advantage pretty firm. It's just unfortunate that now that all of that is unfolding because Xiao Yao had been able to link both Zhang Wuji to the rest of the map.
Now they have the Herald still available, but turret plating is going to fall, so this has to be won based on just taking down a tower. You're not going to farm for gold anymore. You just want the map to open up.
Big point here is there's not a lot of people forming around the bottom side, but that's a second Infernal Dragon that Warriors can now take. So I don't like the idea that they're sending Zhang Wuji and Killua back into the top lane. You should actually just send them back bottom and try to contest for the Infernal Dragon. You have the early pressure. It doesn't make much sense to give it away.
Yeah, 30 seconds left on that, but as you said, they're just staying top. They have no way to get down here either. Unlike Kramer and RD, they don't have the ultimate, they don't have the potential of TP. Aris as well has his.
Are they moving down mid lane? This is weird, but it can work out. Here we go.
Good jump back to save himself, and Kramer now in a lot of danger. Killua with the ultimate. RD, they just need to stop him from spinning him out. He's killed inside RD. That's going to be 2 kills picked up, the double for Kong Ming. And now the mid lane tower is next.
They just found a mistake. There was no reason for Kramer and RD to be out that far in mid lane alone, especially with RS having base. So they pick up 2 kills. I think they were on the wrong side of the map, but they had pushed that out and immediately focused on mid lane tower. This could be a second one. No! Got it.
There it is. She did her duty before she was taken down. Long live Shelly.
They're literally rotating around the map. Stop these kids.
This is what we wanted to see. This is what we wanted to see from Rogue Warriors. They had good individual play. They had some good, like, little counters to what LGD did, but they never had that huge, like, macro idea. And now Rogue Warriors are like, wait a minute. Look, we're good.
I think calling this macro is a little bit much. This is literally just Killua and Zhang Wuji being on the wrong side of the map, walking all the way mid because they saw RD and Kramer pushing out. And I mean, like, fine, they found themselves on the right side of the map at the end. But the ends do not justify the means. The mean was just really ugly. That was not pretty.
If we can't call this macro from Rogue Warriors, I don't want to hear what we have to call what LGD's been doing.
I call it disgusting. Man, it's not pretty.
Now, bot lane, back to split push. They're both warded. That was the saddest standoff I've ever seen.
Hey, man, I still call it a standoff. It's all right.
Zhao Yun pushing down against Yuki now. So lanes have been rotated around a bit. Now the bot lane in the top for Rogue Warriors. Just want to take that tower.
Yeah, this is good. They are now on the right side of the map. So I think one thing I would like to see, and they can only really move when Kongin pushes out this lane. He has an extra wave to push out too, since mid lane outer turret is down. So now you can see him push it out. Look at the minimap, rotating up. That's when you really want to coincide the wave on the top lane tower. So it's going to be hard for Kramer and RD to actually come out and help. They're taking the much longer way around. And this is a cannon wave too, so it should be easy to chip this one down.
Oh, looks like they're coming in for the defense. Again, like you said before, not aggressive. Just need to push out the wave.
Now this is when it really tests discipline on a squad, because you can just play this one out slowly. Rogue Warriors can go right back mid lane, push out the mid lane tower, start to threaten mid lane inner. But your intent is not to take that tower down, because you need to pull RD and Kramer back to defend it. Just take a look at their positions. If they stay in the top lane tower, then great, you have a mid lane inner. You can see them currently basing. They're giving that tower away. They're forced to do so. Wait a minute, they're just indecisive now. They're staying on that tower.
I don't know what to think anymore, Raz.
Look, they're just saying if they're going to stay on that tower, that they're okay with mid lane inner turret getting chipped down. Think that LeBlanc moving towards her blue buff, okay, you can do it for the long run, but I would much rather have had her stay a little bit longer. But no, it's okay. Now she has full mana. She's been thirsty a little bit.
Getting a nice solid chug of mana from the blue buff, and now Rogue Warriors matching bot in the top side for now. But it's just a little bit slow for the time being, as Rogue Warriors need to set up for their next play.
Oh, let's go for it.
There it is. Kahlua wants to be the one to set up, but Kandi getting away from vision just in time.
I think that was just a little... It's only weird because Xiao Yao was trying to steal red buff. Now he has too many objectives he's trying to fight for, when he should really simplify the play for his team and try and go for top lane and mid lane inner tower. Because the issue here is, now the risk is you've played this game for so long, it's almost 20 minutes. You had an opportunity to take top lane tower or mid lane inner. Now you have to change focus and move towards Baron that's going to be coming up into.
Hopefully they're able to get something in the meantime. Zhao Yun doing his darndest to keep the macro dream alive. He'll say one day you can call it macro Raz. Probably not today, but one day.
It just changes, you know. They have been making smart choices. It was literally just that one run from top to bottom that I disliked. Like that itself, it gave them a lot, but any other team actually would have done more with it. So here we go.
Kramer and RD are just on wave kill duty at the moment. They're just like, okay, where's the next wave coming in? All right, sure, whatever. Let's go kill it.
That's good. I mean, it's literally kept their top lane and bottom lane tower. As I say that, they have Fiora now under 2 people, so she cannot keep that alive. That's why having your dual lane in the right spot, they've been doing a great job up until this point. They might be able to take this mid lane tower. They don't have much of a wave. That's actually just unfortunate. Sad days.
Kongming getting the last of the wave. Final remnant. Oh, I don't like that, Kongming. You may have gone a little deep, bud.
All right, this is where he's trying too hard. You got to stop it.
Now he no longer has the flash, can't make as aggressive assassination plays, but they will get the bottom lane tower, and they've gotten the top ahead of time.
This just cuts your timing a little bit. Maybe they can get a play on top of Eris. This is going to be a tough one. Let's go.
Zhangwuji the first one to go in. This is pretty dangerous, but there's a teleport coming in from Zhao Yun as well. So they just want to engage on this, pick off the top laner, give themselves a little bit of freedom here on the map.
And thankfully, Zhangwuji was in a safe position when he got ulted by the Fiora. Fiora just wants the movement speed rather than a way to bite back. They're now in a great position to move towards Baron with no top laner at all from LGD.
No top laner, but this has been seen by LGD. They know Rogue Warriors are on this Baron.
Killua, look at his position.
He's looking for the surprise party. And here it comes. Surprise! Happy birthday, but it's not going to catch anyone. Not a lot of damage. Vanguard's Edge goes in. Xiao Yao barely alive. Kahlua not for much longer. They are forced off the Baron.
He just didn't have enough damage to try and 100-0 the Tahm Kench. Oh no!
Kongming. Oh, he's so low. Boop, there goes the auto. 700 gold in the pocket of Kandi, and the chase is going on from LGD. They're looking for Zhao Yun and Xiao Yao, but Zhao Yun too beefy to take down for now.
Eris 100% HP. He's alive now.
There goes
Teleported
the
up
tower.
here.
The flash, the Q, not able to get it. A good response from Zhao Yun flashing away as well, but Rogue Warriors absolutely got destroyed on that play.
Yeah, the team fight that they had, it was a good idea, but they couldn't 100-0 RD. He was up for so long. They had put in so many resources, not able to actually get the Urgot ultimate. Okay! I'm just going to quiet down now. Zhang Wuji wants to play.
Okay, Wuji. He's the only one here right now. 2K left on the Baron, so I don't think they'll be able to get the Baron, but they might get the follow-up fight. Kahlua wants in with the Hex Flash. They're trying to force them off. Xiaoyao's going into the Baron. He wants to steal it. He gets it! LGD are getting destroyed off a half-second display from Wuji. The W to win the game.
He's got this one too. My God. And you know who I'm going to attribute that to? Zhang Wuji split up the focus. If you're Kandi there, what do? What's the call? What's the play you making? Because now you have an 80 carry that's threatening you from the side. You see Eris trying to all in on him. But now you have both Killua and Xiaoyao that just jumped into the pit when the Baron is at 1K. That is an insane position to be put in. Milliseconds to make the decision. He makes the call, loses Baron, and they lose the team fight to follow up. Take a look at this, because it all starts with Kramer getting assassinated right in between the pickets. And take a look at Zhang Wuji coming from the side. Literally 4 people on Baron, low HP bars, and they try to go for him. Eris has already been poked down even lower. Open window for Xiaoyao to just try and burst it down. Easiest Baron pickup of your life.
And with just one play, Rogue Warriors wrest control back away from LGD, back into their own hands. They were starting to lose it a little bit, but off that single play, the 4 kills, the Baron, they're back in the driver's seat.
There are a few players out there that can do that for you. I mean, I've seen Rookie do that pretty frequently. And Invictus Gaming find themselves in a rut when they're in a game and it looks like it goes to 3, or perhaps they finally lose a series. Rookie will find a pick on his LeBlanc and his Assassin to be able to bring the game back to parity. This is a situation where Zhang Wuji was able to do that for his team. Now they've got this.
Zhao Yun just gonna absolutely destroy it with the help of his team. Eris now no longer able to split push, and they'll clear the wave.
Look at him. Even the Colonel has been super... he doesn't know where the game's going anymore. Back and forth early game, he had it for LGD. And now he's like, all right, 79%, 80% chance now. Rogue Warriors take this.
I'm feeling it, Colonel. I'm liking the way Wuji's playing. I'm liking the way Xiaoyao's got the heads up. The Rogue Warriors, they brought it back. They've made the plays we wanted them to make last game, and they haven't made the same dumb mistakes.
Definitely a lot more discipline. At this point in time, it's very similar to the play they had when they were bouncing between top and mid. All you have to do is the same with both mid and bottom lane turret. They kept Kong Ming in the mid lane so that she can actually constantly push this one out and help to rotate bottom lane. It has to remain this way, then you have yourself the best chance for a team fight.
Rogue Warriors just going to keep the rotations up. Top lane wave still a ways away from the base of LGD, so they can really only threaten mid and bot right now.
It's building up, so you can actually rely on it. A few pings on the wave too, so they're going to use it a little bit more. You can see LeBlanc just pushing it along. It could have actually kept the wave where it was, so you didn't have to push it. You can have the next wave coming in pretty soon. And there's no one to support it. I actually think this was the wrong call from LeBlanc to speed up the process when you have no one to come and help. And the next wave is taking its time. Here we go, actually. He's waiting. This is a good call now. I was a little bit worried that he'd do a full clear. Now the next wave is going to be coming up just in 10 seconds too. So this is the wave that they should try and dive on this inner tower.
It is the last outers and inners available until you get up into the inhib towers. So this is a good place for Rogue Warriors to be. Just going to carefully split between top and mid and keep clearing out the waves for them.
I feel like the wave went to waste. They were in the process of clearing the blue side jungle at the same time as the wave was crashing in, so they didn't get to chip it on in a minute. Here we go, Kong Ming.
He's not going to find it just yet. He's still going to look. Oh, Zhao Yun wants to go in with the Righteous Glory. He gets the knockback, and that's going to be a victor inside the belly of RD. They're not able to pick it up, but Killua goes in with the ultimate. Goodbye, Kandi, the first kill of the fight. And Kramer looking for the return onto Zhang Wuji, but he's still alive. And now the inhibitor tower going down. 5 versus 4 left on the map.
Yeah, they can go back to playing this one safe immediately. The moment they saw Eris on the side lanes, it was just going to be a 4v5. Let's go for it. There is no way you're going to be going up against Zhao Yun. You're going to be expecting him to not look for the opportunity. The man wants to fight, found that opportunity and struck.
Now Rogue Warriors with the man advantage for the next 10 seconds, going to try and push down this top inner. And LGD won't be able to respond in time even.
So now the play for Rogue Warriors, back once again, now you got this all this nice new gold and a super minion wave just constantly hitting down mid. Play towards Baron. Baron's up in a minute. Don't get baited into the next dragon. I know that's going to be a triple infernal, but if you make it so LGD start contesting the triple infernal, you have a free Baron for yourself. That's end game. If you try and go towards the infernal dragon, then of course LGD can actually have their best shot are looking for one more team fight. You should go directly towards the Baron and make it difficult for LGD. Look at them right now. This is LGD are forced to go to infernal dragon. You should not play that game.
Just looking potentially for the picks off the side. Xiaoyao goes in. A lot of poke onto RG, but they still want to go for the fight. Zhao Yun's going in. The teleport's coming from the side. Xiaoyao in a lot of trouble in a 1v3, but there's the fear beyond death. Fear onto 2, and Wuji goes in. I don't know if that was the right call, but he's still alive, so it looks like it's fine
Eris
for
is
now.
here.
Eris is here, but not for much longer. Maybe gets the kill onto Wuji. This would be a disaster for Rogue Warriors. They pick up 1. They turn the fight. Wuji is still alive, and he needs to get the kill onto Kandi. He does. Kramer, the only one left standing for LGD.
Just one. Get the chain on him.
Not going to go for it. They want to play it careful. They just want to shove it in and then threaten Kramer under tower. He doesn't have much mana. Looks like they just want to back off for the Infernal instead.
Yeah, and they're picking. Yeah, you're right. They're pinging the Infernal. And what did I just say? Do not play towards the Infernal Dragon because the one opportunity LGD has to come back into a game was a team fight. And they were that close to out team fighting. Kramer was in a great position of fire. In fact, if his ultimate was a little bit closer to the left, he would have actually been able to eviscerate Zhang Wuji in that skirmish. Play towards the Baron. There's no reason to fight like this. So just looking at the way they did it, it took some time before Zhang Wuji had an opening in. In fact, they had a great ultimate, great cast from Gragas to take down the Fiddlesticks. The moment Zhang Wuji found himself on the side, Kandi has actually spent so much time that now you have Eris and Yuki had the ability to dive in. That was a great stopwatch, kept himself alive for a little bit longer, or that would have just been a clean ace in my opinion for LGD.
Unfortunately for LGD, they won't get it, but now that Rogue Warriors have picked up the Infernal, LGD, their only option is to defend against this Baron. They know this is where Rogue Warriors is, so they just need to play careful around it.
They should be able to just start this one off. Now that they got the big payoff of the third Infernal Dragon, they shouldn't be too concerned about a team fight. I think one thing I'm concerned about is Zhao Yun getting caught out, but it seems like they're just trying to look for a fight no matter what. Here we go.
Here comes the Righteous Glory. They're looking for Kramer,
Wow.
but they get the flip onto RD, expecting the Devour, but not yet. Surprise! The damage coming out is massive. Fear Beyond Death picks up Kandi. Kandi and RD are down, which means it's a free Baron if they want it.
Yeah, that's a huge death timer now that Kandi and RD have to work with. So the Baron's out of question. You're not going to be picking that up, especially now that you have, let's see, a few members. You already see where LeBlanc's working with. If any member was actually coming up just as a straggler, would have been assassinated. Easy Baron. And the question is how LGD are actually going to defend this next push.
Mid lane still has the inhibitor down for the time being, which means Rogue Warriors can focus on the side lanes. They're going to start here at the top lane. But smartly, Yuki trying to push out the bottom, keep it away for as long as possible.
Right now, LGD need the wave clear, but unfortunately, the E from Kramer is not going to be enough. The laser is going to be able to take down a little bit of the backline minion wave, but as you can see, the front line is not going to be really getting hurt, so it's easy for Rogue Warriors to just jump in.
Oh my god, Kongming. That's the game right there. Eris no longer able to defend. LGD 5v4. Rogue Warriors have the advantage, and they are chunking down LGD under tower.
This is insane. At this point, Kramer has to go back to base 2. He has half HP. This is easy to just chip at this Nexus turret.
Kongbin just looking on the flank, trying to keep the threat down. First Nexus turret is down.
Oh!
Yuki has to go golden, and now the threat is on. The surprise party comes in, doesn't get a kill, but it distracts long enough. Here's the second Nexus tower, and this should be the game from Rogue Warriors. They're picking up a few kills on the backside, but more importantly, they pick up their first series win here in the LPL.
And they did it the only way they know how. Constant fights. Challenge you where they can. Zhao Yun, Zhang Wuji, those two players knew exactly what they wanted. So I'd say a big congratulations to both Killua and Zhang Yuji, who've been playing so well up until this point. So for those players, they got out of lane well enough. And they have a team now that can do the same. I think laning phase was the biggest fear I've had for this squad, that they can't get out of the mid lane and top lane like even or ahead. This time around, that's completely different.
And it seemed like in Game 5, finally the communication came together.
True.
It was no longer just, oh, we can make a play here, and then they forget about it for a few minutes. It was, what play can we make? What can we look for? How do we catch LGD off on the back foot? Because before, it seemed more like an observational thing. They said, I see an opportunity, let's get it. Now they're looking for the opportunities. They're looking for the hunt down onto LGD.
Yeah, and I would say that would be a criticism of Jiang Chao, and Shuju, a little bit of Huatian as well. Those three players weren't exactly good in their own solo, isolated plays. If the solo laners were both in their respective solo lanes for an extended amount of time, they're coming out of that one in a deficit. But also just working alongside together. That was supposed to be the expectation of Jiang Chao, but then the execution, a lot of his TP plays weren't timely enough, and him rotating was not good enough. So now you bring in Zhao Yun, who's actually good at both. He's rotating pretty frequently for the fights, but he's actually doing quite well in his own lane. So I think from this point forward, you should expect Zhao Yun to be playing in the top lane. And this was a statement game from Kongbin, who laid down the LeBlanc play and was finally able to take down Yuki. So we should be expecting more of him as well.
Because we've seen Huatian do okay. We've seen him get kills, but we have never seen him pop up the way Kongbin did this game.
Yeah, and look at this. This is a worrying game. The fact that it was in LGD's favor for a little bit of it. I think that it came down to the final Baron dances, and Zhang Wuji, I'll give it to him again. I don't know if he gets MVP here, but I think that he made an MVP play around Baron, really pulling in so many members, pulling in a lot of pressure. I think he was the big standout for me once again here.
I don't think it looks like LGD can play tight enough to play to the style they're currently trying to utilize. Because with a style where you rely heavily on getting to the late game and playing very well, making the plays towards that end of the game, you can't make mistakes. If you make a mistake, what happens is what happened this game. Rogue Warriors just win. Because death timers are so long, if you try and build up your gameplay around, okay, let's survive until late, let's try and work around the later stages, and you lose early, or at least do at best okay, and then in the late stages you start making mistakes, you're too sloppy to execute your own strategy.
And let's talk about the mistakes a little bit more. I think the biggest weakness that LGD had was specifically in teamfight communication and role identification. Like a lot of the players, specifically I'd say Lies in game 1, when he came out with the Akali, and he never really looked for a nice flank play on towards Zhang Wuji, or Release didn't really try for any of that because they had a lot of great side lane pressure, but they never really tried to go for it. And then, you know, move on to the next few games, and the creativity still kind of fizzled on that one. I think that for LGD as a team, you need to have a good team fight if you're trying to gear yourself up for as an identity. I think that's something that they have to work towards.
LGD looking to tighten up their team fighting, but Rogue Warriors just going to look to get that next win off their play. When we come back, it's going to be TOP versus OMG Game 1. Stick around.